Or
Go around.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to call to order the Physical Services Committee for Monday, March 24th, 2025. A copy of the agenda for this meeting may be found on the county website under the tab for the Legislature. Please silence your phones and electronic devices, and at this time, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Canada. Benton.
Here.
here.
Littell. Here. Dewey. Scavenge.
Here.
Benelli. And Cheney.
Here.
Vice President Rios.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. First, on our agenda here today is the Department of Parks, Recreation, and Conservation. And we have a request to accept and appropriate FEMA reimbursement for remediation of the Hickory Hill Maintenance Garage resulting from Hurricane Ida disaster and apply toward debt service capital project number 787. The balance of FEMA reimbursement will be applied to the general fund balance, $143,936.87. Federal share, $129,543.19. State share, $14,393.68. Legislative request number 89. Can I get a motion in a second, please? Legislator Tautel, Minority Leader Perdue. Go ahead, Commissioner.
Thank you. This request is to accept funding from the FEMA for damages at the Hickory Hill Maintenance Garage from the Ida storm. We previously had received some reimbursement from the insurance company for this, and this will make up the remainder of the monies that we'll get back into this project for those damages.
Questions or comments? Long time coming.
Yeah, I've been patient, but it gets there eventually.
All right. Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Thank you. I'd also like to note that Chairman Hines is here and Legislator Ellers. Okay, good. Next on the agenda is Eric Denega, Robert Gray, and Ermin Silkovic regarding an update on single stream recycling. And I believe we all should have received this single page handout that's kind of like a flow chart.
Right over there. So about a year back, we received an inquiry from a resident of the county inquiring about whether the materials collected at county transfer stations, by extension collected from the curbside throughout the county, were actually recycled. And so, of course, my line is yes. Through our dealings and procurement and all the checks and balances we have to go through in order to ensure that the vendors that we hire do the job that they're supposed to do. Naturally, my knee-jerk reaction is yes. So, through feedback and through, back and forth with this one resident, and really decided to just dig into it and really inquire and look into the resources available to us to find the information to confirm that yes, indeed, the materials are recycled. So, in brief, materials that are collected from County Transportation Number 1 in New Hampton are delivered to Millennium Paper Recycling in Rockland County for pre-processing. So if there's any, bulk paper, or if there's any even contaminants that are found in that material, it's sorted out, pre-sorted before it's sent to Action Environmental down in the Bronx. So on that page handout, you'll find flow of materials. And also the facilities where materials that are sorted eventually at Action Environmental are eventually go to. I do want to note that the 5,483 tons that come from Orange County are mixed with the numbers that you see from other sites, from other sources. So that's why the numbers increase as you go along. But the original source of amount of tonnage from Orange County is the 5,483 tons number.
I'll note this is single stream recycling only. There's other recycling commodities that we do have in the county that we filter through separately and we bring to other, like metal, some of our own paper, things like that that we take to other facilities. Smaller amounts. And the DEC has a regulatory oversight of a lot of this process too, that Ernie just explained, that when it leaves our facilities, these other facilities that handle it are responsible to the DEC. The DEC does have an eye on those, on those functions.
So the DEC requires reporting from those facilities that basically says, what did you receive in? What went out and where did it go?
That's correct. As we're regulated, they're regulated as well. So they receive routine inspections.
Okay, questions and comments? Legislator Menuda.
Thank you very much, and thank you for bringing up the topic. I think you're probably the subject. There's a bunch of social media reels out there with regard to recycling and where it actually goes, how much of it is actually recycled, and whether those reels are real or not. There's a lot of video that goes with it, but I think what I see here is we're doing our part of the job to make sure that our recyclables that we are telling our constituents that are being recycled, we're collecting. We're taking our stuff and putting it to the next level, and then it's their responsibility. But I think the bigger question is the validity of what's out there. It looks like maybe 10% of recycled materials are actually being recycled. They're showing stuff shipping off to foreign countries, and then those foreign countries dump them in the ocean. So I think that's where a lot of this is coming from. I would like to have a better idea of what that looks like, but I know and I trust that we're doing our job locally.
Correct. Yes.
Thank you. Another thing I think maybe we need to point out, because this isn't completely something we do out of the goodness of our own hearts or because we feel that it's important for the environment. The state Department of Environmental Conservation plays a role in that we have a solid waste management plan, and this is a component of that. Could you just expand upon that a little bit, please?
Yep. So we completed a preliminary draft, and that's under internal review, and we're in communication with the DEC about that preliminary draft to go over some of the finer tuned details, and hopefully from that discussion with them, we'll be able to produce an official draft.
Right. But there's one in place now that's very old, correct? That we're basically operating under?
Yes, it hasn't technically been approved. We received, I think, 73 comments at that time that had to be addressed. So instead of addressing 73 comments from an old version of the plan, we decided to scrap it and start fresh.
What's the title?
But still, the state mandates that municipalities and counties do certain things relative to managing their solid waste, and so it's not kind of a free form plan that we're doing. It's a plan that's guided by state regulations.
That's correct, and a lot of actions impinge on that plan, such as grant reimbursements, permits. So if you try to, get a permit for a facility, one of the factors they ask is, do you have a plan in action? Are you working on the draft? So that's one of the prerequisites in an application for a permit or in an application for a grant. So it's really tied into how we run our facilities.
Do you have a sense as to whether a lot of counties are in the same situation we are, or are we kind of an outlier in that we don't have a plan that's been approved in quite a while?
Yeah, it's about a little more than half. I think 54% have approved plans. And the other, we fall in the others.
It's growing. It's growing. We'll have ours approved soon or submitted soon.
Yeah.
And actually, the state's been very good about it, as there's multiple chapters of this thing. And as they're completed, they're sent in and reviewed. They don't insist the entire thing be complete to review. They're reviewing it piecemeal, so it's.
Okay.
We've been using that.
Any additional questions or from the committee? Other legislators present? All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next up is the Department of Public Works. Our first item is request to approve a strip of land to be dedicated for highway purposes along County Road 53 Craigville Road through the lands of AMG Plus Realty LLC, tax map parcel 52-1-57. The dedication has been deemed necessary during the review process as the parent parcel still encompasses a portion of the county road. The approval of the dedication will give full ownership to this portion of the road and right-of-way to the county. It's legislative request number 77. Can I get a motion in a second? Legislator Tortel, is that legislator Meehan? Thank you. Go ahead.
This is a standard. We've done this before when a site plan is referred to the county and the general municipal laws due to the proximity of the county being on a county road. Our engineers will, part of their review process, they will verify the property boundaries of those parcels involved with the site plan. When those parcels come into the county road, a lot of times at the center line of the county road, we will make the request to transfer ownership over to the county. And this is, situations like this are spread out all over the county. So this is very standard, just part of a commercial site plan. And once we do this, it will have little or no impact on the actual site plan that's in front of the respective planning board there. It will just be giving us more control of the property.
Any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Item B, request supplemental appropriation to the capital projects budget for the county Route 1 over Uric Ditch Culvert replacement in the town of Warwick, PIN 8763.70. This project was not listed under the 2025 capital plan. Upon approval, a new capital project will be created. County share $0, state share $1,500,000. It's legislative request number 82. Can I get a motion? Legislator Riskevich, second, legislator Menuda. Go ahead.
So the next two items, B and C, are the same project. And actually, the next 6 items on the agenda are all 3 different projects that are associated with the Bridge of New York funding project. Brian McGuire, sitting next to me, has done a phenomenal job over the years of putting the applications for bridges into the program and getting millions of dollars over the years for bridges and culverts under the purview of the county. You'll see that there's a 0% share for the bridge project. It's up to 1.5 million. If it goes over that, I'm sorry, the culvert project. If it goes over that, the county, then we have to come back and we would have to ask for money for bonding. But at this point, it's 0 bonding. If it stays under roof 1.5, that's what the grant will allow us. We have to put the money up front. That's why we're here to allocate that money, to appropriate that money, but there's no bonding because we anticipate getting the reimbursements back from the state before we even go to bond.
Questions or comments, legislator Riskevich?
Yeah, that 1.5 million, is that for one culvert or the answer?
For one culvert. So B and C is the same project. It's just there's the state's local grant agreement is item A, or item B, I'm sorry. And item C is a separate resolution the state wants us to pass to accept the state local resolution.
They can be full.
They might be. But no, we put up one of these out to bid. We got a bid amount of 900,000. We had design fees, we had right away, we had inspection fees. It adds up pretty quick. So.
It's an honor recommendation, it's on the budget, make sure you put them on. Plus, yeah,
We're aware of that issue and we've been trying to address these specific culverts for that exact reason. So,
thank you.
Legislator Benton.
No map.
there's no map, but I can get something to you. I have location map.
Okay, great.
This one is just south of Pine Island. There's not really a cross street, but it's the first large culvert as you head towards town.
Okay. Yeah, a map would be appreciated. Thank you.
Legislator Menuda.
Can you just give me a little, just a little bit of detail here? What makes a culvert 900,000 to $1 million? Environmental stuff, is what's going on?
Just what we're seeing on the streets from the contractor's bid pricing. One of these culverts we put out to bid, it's a 10-foot span culvert. Full road closure, no water in the culvert, it's just an equalizer. And we received a bid for $900,000. So
Inflation has obviously a lot to do with it over the last several years.
Yeah, I agree.
Do they have the concrete?
this one was concrete box culvert with concrete wing walls.
Okay.
It's a little bit easier to put them out with state funding. I guess you are able to do it with in-house forces, but there's a tremendous amount of paperwork and documentation that you have to do as part of the grant reimbursement.
But this particular culvert dimensions.
Yeah.
This culvert, it's a 12-foot diameter culvert. It's an aluminum structure, and it was constructed in 1974. It's about 5,100 vehicles a day on this section of roadway.
And what's the new one gonna be?
That's to be determined. If we can fit a metal structure in there that will last 75 years like the grant program wants it to, we'll use that. Otherwise, it'll probably be a concrete box culvert of some sort.
Precast?
Precast.
So you think you said 12 feet, not 12 inches. But so when you think about the cost and the size, this is something you can walk through. It's not just a driveway.
What's the line?
It's a 10-foot.
Generally about 41 feet across the road. It's 12 feet diameter. With our highway and shoulders and guide rail, it's about 40 feet.
It's not a small project.
No. Legislator Totel.
Thank you. The one that you're referencing for $900,000 that came back, how long ago was that?
Probably about 2 years ago. It was in 2022.
I think you're gonna be going to state for more money, given what prices have come up in.
I do believe we have an estimate. It is over 1.5 million. Just trying to get detailed cost estimates from the engineering firm before we approach the legislature. We will add it to the capital plan for next year.
And then this legislative grant that we got from the state for this project, can we go back if there's additional funds if the cost comes over the price of that 1.5 million? Or is that something that we're gonna have to find out? I couldn't get an answer on that.
So with this specific program, the state does cap it at 1.5 million for the total cost of the project. And anything above that is responsibility of the whole municipality.
So right now you're at 900,000, so.
It's very possible to go 1.5.
But again, the program doesn't allow for us to apply for anything more than 1.5. That's the
Right.
maximum grant that they can
For the culvert portion
for the culvert,
of their program.
not the bridges.
It's a super benefit for us. We're gonna have to call them some money, hopefully not.
Right.
Yeah, for 1.5 million, so not gonna see.
Majority Leader Benton.
Did you just say something about an insert into the 12-foot pipe, or did I hear something wrong?
I think it may have been something I misspoke about if I did say that, but the program doesn't allow you to do a slip line of culverts.
Okay,
So it would be a full replacement.
completely. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Sure.
Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Next, request to authorize the implementation and funding of a transportation project PIN 8763.70, of which qualified costs may be reimbursed from Bridge New York Fund. This is a seeker type 2 action, legislative request number 80. Can I get a motion in a second?
So moved.
Legislator Tui, legislator Menuda. Okay, go ahead.
This is under the same program, also another culvert, not a bridge, 100% reimbursement up to the 1.5. and I'll ask Ryan to give some of the technical details on the location and the street.
Did you jump ahead?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Let's see.
I'm sorry. Yes, I did jump ahead.
Okay. So you just want to,
So this is the
kind of
schedule.
alluded to it before.
Yeah, I think what Ryan said, this is just a requirement by the grant that pass a separate resolution to this effect.
Any questions or comments? We've already needed to do.
Maybe reimbursed. No, definitely reimbursed.
I don't know that we've ever experienced.
We've never had an issue being reimbursed, but the state does require you to lay the funds out and then submit for reimbursement. But they do make you authorize the funds locally to be reimbursed through the state program.
They have money left.
All right, any further questions? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Item D, request supplemental appropriation to the capital projects budget for the County Route 1 over Drumgool Ditch culvert replacement in the town of Warwick, pin 8763.69. This project has been approved under the 2025 capital plan as project number 56 for $343,000. Upon approval, a new capital project will be created. County share 0, state share 1.5 million. Legislative request number 83. Can I get a motion? Second, Legislator Riskevich and Legislator Tortel. Go ahead.
Okay, so again, my apologies. Same situation, just a different location, different culvert. Under the same program that our staff was able to put in applications for another $1.5 million in funding. And I'll ask Ryan to go through the details of the location. It's type 2 in secret because it was a replacement of an existing facility, rather than type 2 in environmental review, but I'll ask Ryan to go through if there's any details on the history of the existing culvert.
So this culvert is 6 foot diameter. Actually, this is a 6 foot precast box culvert that we're replacing. It's constructed in 1955. The section roadway carries approximately 4,400 cars a day. This one is near the intersection with Mission Land Road. This culvert is perched, as Paul referenced. So it is above the actual ditches in the farmland. We are looking to lower that to allow for stormwater to pass under the roadway at earlier points in time. We did put this in the capital plan last year for $343,000, which was reflecting the local share, which is above the 1.5 million. At this time, the state local agreement only references the 1.5 million. So we're not requesting the local bonding that was shown in the capital plan. It's just referenced as the specific project that we applied for.
Majority Leader Ben.
Can I get a map again?
I can get one of those too.
And also, so these are irrigation ditches between black dirt farmers?
Drainage.
Yeah, these are the main drainage ditches in the black dirt. So they're not the drainage ditches between the farm fields. They're the main irrigation ditches that run
For
to
stormwater?
the rivers for the stormwater.
Okay.
One side of the road's higher than the other side. You got
Yeah.
your water.
Yeah, oh, no, great, thank you.
Legislator Menuda.
These are different than the programs we have with farmers. Basically dewatering that area.
There's another program we're doing culverts on Pulaski Highway. Is that what you're referencing?
Perhaps.
Correct. So those are on County Route 6. We are still progressing that project. It's a very similar situation, but it's located on County Route 1.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Additional questions or comments? All right, seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed? Carried. Item E, request to authorize the implementation and funding of a transportation project pin 8763.69, of which qualified costs may be reimbursed from Bridge New York funds. This is a seeker type 2 action, legislative request number 81. Could I get a motion in a second?
So moved.
Legislator Tortel, Legislator Menuda, thank you. Go ahead.
And it's the same project, a separate resolution, again, is required by the grant source from the state. Again, references secret type 2 because we're replacing an existing
Questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Item F, request supplemental appropriation to the capital projects budget in the amount of $823,751 for preliminary engineering work for the Sterling Lake Road Bridge Project / Long Meadow Road, County Route 84 over Ringwood River Bridge Replacement, bin 3345050 in the town of Tuxedo, pin 8763.55. This project has been approved under the 2025 capital plan as project number 55 for $845,750. Upon approval, a new capital project will be created. Federal share 95%, $782,563. County share 5%, $41,188. Bonding, and its legislative request number 84. Can I get a motion and a second?
Second.
Legislator Tui and Tortel, go ahead.
The difference between these and the last applications is this is the bridge, not a culvert. So ironically, it is a little bit less expensive. Yeah, actually, this is just a design cost. But the original amount, you can see there's a difference between the $845,750 and the $823,751. So we're actually asking for less money than was originally put into the capital.
Okay, questions or comments? Right, seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Next, we have item G, request to authorize the implementation and funding of a transportation project, pin 8763.55, of which qualified costs may be reimbursed from Bridge New York funds. This is a seeker type 2 action. Legislative request number 79. Could I get a motion in a second, please?
Second.
Legislator Nuda, and was that you, Peter? Or, yeah, thank you. Legislator Tui, go ahead.
Again, this is a type 2 action because we're replacing an existing structure. And again, it's the separate resolution that was required by the state.
I have one thing to that. The sample resolution that was supplied, these are usually supplied by the DOT. There is a typo in the resolution. The resolution reflects the total of $782,563. That only covers the federal share. I am suggesting a revision to reflect the full $823,751 that the request was for. I verified that this morning with our representative at the DOT. Otherwise, we would have to come back to get a separate resolution to increase it.
Make the motion to amend that.
Do we actually have to amend, given the motion we're working off of?
Because it's presented in this form. It
Okay.
would probably be best.
So
It's in the
motion to
previous
amend.
request, it's $823,750.
Make that motion.
Legislator Tufts, could I get a second?
I second.
Already leader Paduk, thank you. Any discussion on the amendment to the motion? All right, seeing none, I'll call the question on the amendment to the motion. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. And next, I'll ask if there's any further discussion on the amended motion. Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor of the amended motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. That is clear. I'd ask for a motion to adjourn, please. Legislator Patel, Mr. thank you very much. All in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Eric?
Uh,